Hello, everyone. Happy Wednesday afternoon. I am Kim Hansen from thenakedleader.org, and I am an executive leadership coach for the salon industry. I want to welcome you all to this live webinar. I would love it if you were interactive. And I'm going to do a little screen share with you guys because I have a PowerPoint scheduled for you today. So what is one of the most underrated systems ever in any business and in most salons? What's the one most underrated systems in our businesses? Does anybody care to guess? Any guesses for you guys? All right, so the most underrated system, hi Nina, hey Sherry, the most underrated system in most salons today is hiring systems. So that's what we're going to talk about today. And I want to talk to you about this because a lot of people that I speak with, a lot of consultations that I do, a lot of salon owners that I talk to, a lot of my coaching clients, everybody is gets frustrated with their team. And if we have really good hiring systems and we sort of load a lot of our expectations on the front end of hiring, we then don't have so many problems later. And I find that a lot of salon owners just hire people to have a body stand behind the chair. And Nina says hers is client retention. Oh, client retention is the most underrated system. Well, Nina, client retention has a lot to do with hiring as well. So if we hire good people and we hire to our culture, then we have a much better success rate at staff retention, which then when we have staff retention, then we end up having higher client retention, right? So I am going to do a little screen share here for you guys because I feel like this is a thing that that we kind of need to see. Hang on. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about the 12-point checklist to hiring. If you guys want to get out your pens and papers, that's fine. If you don't want to get out your pens and papers and you're just listening to this on the fly, that's cool too, because you can email me at kim@kimhansen.net and I can email you this 12-point hiring checklist. Pretty much everything that's on here, I can email right to your email box. So you don't even have to write anything down. All right, so we're going to get into it today with our very first part, number one in the hiring checklist is manifest your dream team. All right, do you guys even think about who you want to come work in your business? Do you think about who you want to work alongside? So what qualities advocate the culture that you want to create? What qualities? Start making a list of characteristics and character qualities that you want in your dream team. And actually write it down. Write down and take, and this, you guys, this, who you work for you is probably the most important aspect of any business, right? So because I have my screen share up here, I can't see the comments. So I'm gonna have to look on my phone. So if I'm looking down, you guys just know that I am looking at my phone to see your comments. So anyway, back to the PowerPoint. So create a checklist of the character qualities that you want and also what you do not want on your team. What don't you want? Probably like people who complain. Maybe it matters to you that people want to work a certain amount of hours. Maybe that doesn't matter to you at all. Maybe you don't mind about a lot of real part-timer people. Whatever it is, the culture that you want to create. So you have to, if you've ever seen my talk on culture, and I probably should do that pretty soon because I haven't done the culture talk in a few months, but you have to have an idea in your mind of the culture that you want to create in order to start manifesting your dream team. So keep this, when you start making this checklist of all the qualities that you want and all the qualities that you don't want, then you take that list and you take it everywhere you go and you start manifesting this dream team. That's what you want to think about all the time. The people that you want to have working in your business. I know Bernie is watching, and Bernie said something to me so powerful one time, and it's so simple. There's how many hairdressers in the town or in the city that you live in, and how many chairs do you have, and how many are you looking to fill? Let's say if you have 10 chairs in your salon and you're only looking for 10 people, if you're not split shifting chairs, if you're just only looking for 10 people, that's all you need to find. So hold out until you find the right people with the right character qualities that you want. And also don't forget to make the list of character qualities that you don't want. And here's the thing, make sure you hold yourself accountable to that list too, because that's leadership. If we can't be who we expect others to be, then we really aren't living a very, that's all what the Naked Leader is all about, authenticity. We're not really being authentic leaders. If we aren't authentic leaders and we don't have that authenticity, we cannot have influence. We cannot influence the team that we're hiring, that work for us, that we're about to hire, that we want to hire, right? Or like I said, that already work for us, okay? So number one, manifest your dream team. Number two, advertise results. Prior to posting any job description, write a detailed overview of what winning looks like in your organization or in your salon, all right? What does that look like? Again, that's part of manifesting what you want in your business. What does winning look like in your business? Does winning look like in your business? And this is part of culture, because there are really only 4 cultures in most businesses, but for sure all salons. There's only 4, and I'm not going to get into them today, but let's say that what winning looks like in your salon is goals. It's achievement. It's it's winning those goals, and it's constantly improving our goal performance and improving the everybody's paychecks, and that is really important to you. Maybe team bonding and teamwork, and I have a very good friend, Walter Claudio. He does head mapping, and it in my salon, what I learned from Walter was probably one of the most pivotal parts of my salon, because it bonded my team together as a service team. So what does winning look like in your organization? What's important to you? And then when you sit down to write these descriptions, what I often see on a lot of ads for jobs is bullet point checklists of what you're looking for. You need to inspire people before you can even hire them. You need to inspire the right people to come to work for you. And if you can't inspire them before you hire them, how can you? It's the process of connecting them into the culture of your business. So before you sit down to write your little blurb on whatever you're advertising on, whether it's, a lot of my clients advertise on Indeed with actually not a huge amount of success, but whatever, LinkedIn, whatever you're writing on, you're going to write your blurb on. Take a minute to close your eyes and think about what winning looks like on your team, and channel that vision, and have that vision come out in the blurb, whatever you're writing, to attract the type of people that you want to attract. Number 3, get referrals. Of course, I posted yesterday something about hiring, and referrals is a huge part of getting hairdressers to come into our business. We're always asking, do you know somebody? Do you know a hairdresser? Do you know a hairdresser? Because that's always the best way. I think. I take that back. That's not always the best way, because then sometimes you have 2 friends working together and they kind of team up. But it is a very good way. So post job openings on your website and connect your career section to Google AdWords. If you have a Google AdWords account, post your job openings right on your website. If you send out emails, if you have a large enough database, you never know who is on the other end of your emails. If you have a database of 10,000 or more for clients, you never know who's on the end of those emails. So make sure to reach out to your own database and onto your website, and make sure to have a careers page. And if you have a careers page on your website, connect that careers page, that one page, directly to Google and to Google AdWords. And if you don't know how to do it, your web designer or your marketing person should be able to do that for you. Ask your top team members to refer good stylists to you. We were talking about that. Create a relationship with your local cosmetology school by teaching advanced classes or demonstrations. This is a really great way if you are looking to grow your own people. In the very beginning of my business, I did not grow my own people. I did rely on other stylists and just being out there and the people that I knew. But as my business grew and I started creating an internship program, and I did not hire anybody anymore who had experience, I created relationships with my local cosmetology school. And it's great to be able to offer advanced classes, and cosmetology schools generally are open to this. Sometimes some of them already do have relationships with other salons, but a lot of them don't. And if there's any, if there are any people who own cosmetology schools, because I have friends on Facebook that own cosmetology schools, please post if you're interested in having advanced teachings and demonstrations at your school. So here's another idea, and this is actually probably when I opened a third location, and when I wanted to grow and I needed a bunch of hairstylists, I held open houses. And I would put that open house out there into social media, into the cosmetology schools, into, you know, every area, every avenue that I thought that I could get hairdressers from. I put that open house out there, and I had really good luck with getting groups of people into an open house. And what's really interesting about this is there's a lot of different ways that you can do it. You can hold an open house that's just an open house and you do a presentation. You can do an open house that they opt into, and then you can do groups of like 10 and do group interviews and see how they interact with each other. There's all different kinds of ways to do open houses or group interviews where we're not having to, if we're really looking for the right people, we're not having to do like 50 interviews for one position. So, and two, I want to put out there, because I don't think I have it later on in this PowerPoint, group interviews are a really great way because you get to see how people interact. So there's a little tip for you. Number 4, 30-minute phone interview. I love Zoom, much better than a phone. And since I've been coaching, I find that Zoom is a much better way to connect than via the phone. I do almost 100% of my coaching calls via Zoom. So it's face-to-face. I can coach somebody over in Florida and Chicago, and I feel like I know them and I see them. And so instead of doing your actual phone interview, utilize Zoom. It's free. If Zoom is free, but I think it's only 40 minutes. That you can do a meeting up to, but you can knock out a 30-minute interview on Zoom, and you can create an account for free on Zoom, and you can do all of your phone interviews on Zoom. You can also hold staff meetings on Zoom. So this phone interviews or Zoom interviews are great ways to get to know people without, you know, if they don't show up, they don't show up. Then you don't have blocks on your day scheduled out for interviews. And if you can also tell a lot about a person, because being in front of a camera is very intimidating. And so you kind of do throw them into kind of an uncomfortable position right away, and you get to see how they interact with it. And then when you're doing your phone interview or your Zoom interview, get out your checklist that you made in step 1 of the qualities that you want and the qualities you don't want, and just start checking off the qualities that they have and the qualities maybe on each list. And this will weed out a lot of candidates for you. You can even do 10-minute Zoom interviews instead of 30. I don't know that you need to do a 30-minute phone interview actually, or Zoom interview, but you can do a 10-minute Zoom interview super quick. You can really, sometimes it'll just be 5 minutes. So my team used to laugh at me because when people would come in for an interview, they'd always have to come get me from my office. And if they were dressed in jeans, they would come back to my office and say, well, this is going to be like less than a 5-minute interview, because I would never hire anybody who wore jeans to an interview. That was like jeans and tennis shoes. No, you gotta at least look like a hairdresser, guys. All right, I'm gonna check. Let's see. I got a couple comments here, and okay, Sherry, I will send you your 12-point hiring checklist. And thanks, Silas, for just soaking up the knowledge. Thanks, that's great. I love that. And it's the best way because you buy into, they buy into your culture. We invite the schools to come. That's a great idea, Nina, to invite schools to come. Oscar, I love Zoom too. You're a coach. Oscar suggests 20 minutes. You can knock out an interview on Zoom super quick. Yeah, it really honestly just matters. It's if you're enjoying the interview and it's going well, take longer. If you know right away, and I mean, sometimes you just know right away, then take less time. So use your own best judgment on that one. Number 5. Resumes and references. So use this as a routine process only. Because why? Because people lie. Everybody on the face of this earth lies. You lie. Okay, I don't want to admit that I lie, but I do lie. Everybody lies. It's very hard to be or like you stretch the truth. Like maybe it's not a flat out lie, but you stretch the truth, because what are you trying to do? You're trying to make yourself look a lot better than what you really are, right? So everybody does it. I don't care who you are. I don't care if you're the CEO of freaking like wherever, Chick-fil-A. I really don't care. There is going to be, you're going to want to be able to represent yourself in the very best way to be able to get your foot in the door to get the interview. Okay. So take a resume for face value. And I generally don't use the resume in an actual face-to-face interview, but what you can utilize it for is if like you're on your call, on your conference call or your Zoom call, you can use your resumes to just as conversation starters. And that's really what resumes are about, conversation starters. The second interview or the face-to-face interview should be really like the down, dirty, nitty-gritty kind of like getting in, climbing into their mind type stuff, as much as you can in a one-on-one interview. So use the resume in step 4. And in regards to references, if you do phone interviews or Zoom call interviews, what you can do is you want to ask them in that interview, and by the way, you can record the Zoom calls, which is a very, very, very cool feature if you're interviewing, because you can record the Zoom calls and you can save them for later, because if there's a couple candidates you need to go back, and you can always go back to those Zoom interviews. But in that Zoom call or in that phone call, ask them if you can call their references prior to a face-to-face interview. And here's why. Because a lot of times people get fired from a job or let go from a job, and legally there's very few questions that you can ask. But one of the questions I would always ask is this person eligible for rehire? And if they said no, so I would usually ask them why, or can you explain on that? The law is very tricky here. So a lot of employers, especially if it's from a bigger company, will not be able to give you any more detail. But when they come in for the one-on-one interview, you can then say, well, I called this employer and they said that you weren't eligible for rehire. And I wanted to give you an opportunity to explain that to me. And then, just allow them to explain that to you. That's really the fair thing to do, is to check references prior to them coming in to their one-on-one. And I do highly suggest you check 3 references. Okay. Number 6, testing tools. A lot of people don't utilize these in the industry. However, if you have an executive position, they do. There's a lot of different testing tools out there. I used to use one called Format for Learning, and it would give me some general idea of what type of learner they are and what type of person they are. There's and it's Format. So the number 4, MAT, for learning. You can Google it. They probably have a website. So it's the number 4, MAT, MAT, learning. Format for Learning. Okay. Another one is discprofile.com. These help you understand dominant and influential and steady and conscious behaviors. So it just gives you another opportunity to really understand who the person is that you're hiring. And I think that salons don't utilize these as a whole, but remember, the time that we take before we hire someone to really get to know them helps our retention, our guest retention, and our service provider retention or support staff retention, and helps our business grow, because the better that we retain our people and we don't have that continuous, rotating door of people coming in and out until we find the right people, the better we are as leaders, the more security that people have that work for you. And heed this knowledge right here. Security is a huge thing to keep your people working for you. If they don't feel secure and they don't trust the judgment of the leader, it inevitably eats away at the influence you have over your team. Okay. Number 7, the growth factor. If you can't chill with them, you can't build with them. You need to consider both if you want to hang out with them and if you want to grow with them. Remember, these people you want with you for a long, long, long time, or as long as they want to hang out with you, right? So make sure that you actually like them, and make sure that you can grow with them, that they are interested in growing in the same direction that you want to grow. Okay. So you spend a lot of time with your team. My salon was open 7 days a week, 12-hour days. Now, did I work 7 days a week, 12-hour days? No, we were only closed 3 days out of the year. But these people hung out a lot together. They hung out together and they hung out with me. So the better people get along and the better everybody likes each other, the much less problems there are in the future, right? I mean, we already have enough problems in our business. We don't need like the little cat fights that go on. And yes, that inevitably is going to happen. People get their feelings hurt or whatever. And it's for us to like wade through those things. And, but as a whole, if we all have the same growth mindset and we all kind of get along and we like each other, then there's a better factor for success in them staying with you. And number 8, passion. So when you speak to a candidate, do they have passion? Bernie Cook and Gary yesterday on the thread that I posted talked about a sparkle in their eye. And if they don't have the sparkle, don't hire them, because that's the one thing that you can't teach. So yes, what wise advice from 2 wise men in the industry. If they do not have passion, if they do not have that sparkle in their eye, if they're just sitting there like, in the interview, like, oh, I don't know. It doesn't make me want to hire them. And so don't hire them to just have a body behind the chair, guys. Then just, suck it up and keep looking. Because if they do not have the sparkle in their eye, if they do not have the passion for the job that you're offering them, and authentically, right? Not like that put on kind of thing. Go ahead, check them out on social media. I know you guys have got to know people, employers check you out on social media and they're looking, and they're looking at what you post and they're looking to see what you're saying. So if they don't have the sparkle in the eye, move on. Number 9, money and mission. Woohoo! Money and mission. Ask your candidates to give you an overview of their expenses. Kind of ballsy, right? Yeah, right. That is a little ballsy. However, if your candidate cannot live on what you pay them, then it's not a good match. If your candidate cannot live on what you pay them, it's not a good match, guys. You are going to feel bad. You're going to feel pressured. You're going to want to promote them faster than what they deserve to be promoted. So yes, it is a ballsy move to ask them what they need to live on. And if they own their own home, do they live at home with their parents? Do they rent an apartment? Do they rent a house? Do they have kids? Are they married? All of these things are sort of roundabout ways for you to get an idea of what kind of lifestyle they live and what kind of lifestyle they expect to live. So also ask them to write a brief personal mission statement about what they want to achieve. So you can, if you do a Zoom interview or you do a phone interview, you can say, would you please write a brief mission statement about what you want to achieve? Or that could be something on like, if you're, even before a phone interview, in your little blurb that you put on Indeed, or if you put it on your website, if you would like to work with us, please send us a personal mission statement about what you want to achieve in life. Where do you want to be in 1 year? Where do you want to be in 3 years? Where do you want to be in 5 years? Where do you want to be in 10 years? What is their mission? What do they stand for? It's always good when the money and the mission are aligned with your organization. If the money and their mission are not aligned with your culture and your organization, it's not a match. And number 10, compensation review, the money word. So prior to hiring, you will want to review compensation and benefits. You can do it at the one-on-one interview. However, I honestly would not suggest it. I would have either a second or a third interview where I'm handing out compensation, and there's a reason for that. Let me tell you the reason why. You don't want a candidate who's overly concerned with money. I mean, obviously, money is a motivator to some people, but money is not a motivator to the majority of people. People want to work for you because they want to work for you. And if they're willing to sacrifice sometimes to work for you, those are the types of people that you want to have work for you. You don't want to have to sacrifice too much, but to sacrifice some things. And so to put off the money conversation, and then do a formal offer in the form of an email, maybe a phone call after the one-on-one interview. This is their compensation. Maybe do another Zoom call. This is their compensation. You can do a Zoom call. You can screen share the compensation so that you can see them. And then if they agree to it, then you can go ahead and send them a formal offer or a formal contract via email. Money is an important factor, but it rarely engages what engages a team member in your organization. What engages most people to your organization is what your culture is about. And if your culture is about performance, then that's what you're going to attract. If your culture is about teams, then that's what you're going to attract. If your culture is about artistic and creative development, then that's what you're going to attract. And that's what people are going to be attracted to. All right, number 11, meet the influencer. Little trick here for you guys. I don't know if anybody does this, but this is a fantastic thing. And you know what? I came up with this idea when I started noticing that a lot of parents would drive their kids to interviews. And I realized that I needed to meet the people who influenced my potential hires. So what you know that the people who are important to your candidate's life will influence them about you and your job, because you're not the only person that influences them. They're going to have husbands, boyfriends, mothers, fathers, friends, all these people that influence them about their job. And they're going to be going to those people and complaining about you or bragging about you. So you want to make friends with those people. So ask who their biggest influence is in their life, most often their significant other or parent, depending on the age, and invite them to tour your organization and to meet with you prior to sealing the deal. That could be a third interview. Oftentimes we have a technical interview. You can invite them along on the technical interview. There's all different ways to design your hiring practice or your hiring system. And it is really important to create this as a system, you guys. Hiring is one of the most important systems that you will ever create, ever. Okay, so if you have crappy people working for you, it's because you didn't hire properly. You did not take the time. So, but when you meet the influencer, you will get great insight into who influences your new hire. What do they look like? What are they like? You can get a real good vibe about who you're going to hire. If they have a mother and a father and a significant other, invite the whole damn family. I really don't care. Have them all come down and sit down and meet with you and engage with them. And this could be a real point of difference for your business. Okay. And number 12, the last one is the 90-day probation. And I know majority of people that do this, but I just have to throw this in there just in case you don't. While people don't begin to show their true colors for about 6 months, on the average, it takes 6 months to really see the authentic types of people. Then, 90 days is a pretty good period of time to kind of see how it works out before you actually commit to giving them a job. This is a contractual thing. It's part of your human resources. When you're developing your contract agreement with an attorney, or I highly suggest you doing it with an attorney so that it meets and exceeds all the laws of your particular state, that you add a 90-day probationary period in the contract that they sign. And they actually, in my contracts, they had to initial a lot of different things on the contract stating that they agreed to these various things. And a 90-day probationary was one of the areas that they did have to initial. That for any reason, at any time within those 90 days, you can let them go. And of course, you want to give them a reason, because you want to be a good leader and you want to be a good person and you want to have a good reputation. So you want to give people reasons. But if you go through all of these suggestions on these 12 hiring practices, it will definitely reduce the amount of your attrition rate in your salon. Okay, I'm going to take myself off screen share now, and I'm going to be live and in charge. And so Serena says there are negative influences too. Yes, there are negative influences too. And if we invite all of those people to a little party at the salon, then guess what? We get to see what bad of train wrecks that they really hang out with. I hate to say it, but if you have a very high-end salon, or you have Serena has a beautiful salon. And by the way, it's in San Diego. If you are down in San Diego area and you need a salon to work at, Serena has a beautiful salon. If you want to go to work for her, just reach out to me. I can hook you up. And yes, if you have a beautiful salon and you have a beautiful culture and you have a great team, you can bring one bad apple into that group of people and boom, it wrecks it all. So sometimes they are just train wrecks and those things don't come out until later. Right. But if you follow these 12 hiring practices, especially with the Meet the Influencer one, I think that you will have some great insight. Another thing with the Zoom call is in a Zoom call, I hate to say this, but in a Zoom call, you get to see what's around them and what kind of environment they live in. And that is very influential to your decision making as well. And Serena's on a roll here. So Nina says, I had one and had to let her go because she wouldn't comply with the expectations, only give them a short leash. Yes, within the first 90 days, only give them a very short leash. and or lease on your employment. And it actually, in the first year, you really need to give people a very short leash, and then sort of let it out slowly. All right. So I hope this helped you guys. Actually, I do want to put you back on, I won't put you back on screen share. I wanted to let you know that I will not be on next Wednesday because I have a group of people, and they're a really cool group of people. We call ourselves #PoweredByPassion. And we have our mastermind on Wednesdays at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So those people are all meeting up, and you can too, if you want to hang out with us. You can hang out with us too. It's live on Zoom. It is not a webinar. It's actually a mastermind. And next week's topic, we do it once a month, the third Wednesday of every month. That's next Wednesday. I think it's the 17th. And our topic is, catch this one. Is deregulation a good thing or a bad thing? It ought to be a real lively conversation. So I will not be on next Wednesday, but I will be on the following Wednesday. And maybe I'll bring you guys the 4 cultures again in another PowerPoint. Let me know if you like the PowerPoint thing, if that kind of helped you. I know a lot of our industry is visual, and so it helps you guys. If you want to join the Powered by Passion Mastermind group and talk about deregulation next week, I will post the link in the comments section, and you do have to register to join. So come join us and come play with us, and it's always fun with this group of people. It's a very eclectic group of people. It's not just salon owners, it's all different types of people. And it's fun. So we're going to be talking about deregulation. Is it good? Is it bad? What's our opinion? Do we like it? Do we hate it? Are we not so sure about deregulation? What's the advantages? What's the disadvantages? All of those good things. And I'm going to post the link in the comment section after I get off here. And that's about it. So I will see you in 2 weeks from today. And I think we'll talk about culture, the 4 main cultures in the salon industry, in every salon. So you guys have a great rest of your Wednesday. Have a great dinner if you haven't already eaten. And I will see you later. And bye.